I'm recording, and I know a lot of people wrote me along the way because I put a theme on today about having meetings. So let's say hello to everybody watching us later.
Hi. Hi.
And then I'm going to mute everybody. But I want this to be more of interactive stuff. I want it to be a training, but I want people to ask questions and jump in and give input or what you're thinking at the same time. Because the more you go through this, I mean, as Orion has told us, there's only two reasons that people don't have success. You're either not having enough meetings or you're not closing enough meetings. And that's it. So we want to make sure that, people are having success. And honestly, guys, 2019 is gotta be Team USA's year, right? 2019 is going to be our year. And if we want to have that success, we need to have meetings. We need to tell people about our amazing products and about this amazing opportunity. That's it. So, I think when people are starting in the business, we're talking to them about making sure they have somebody with to the meetings, somebody on, either on the call, whether you're doing things online, or if you're doing things offline, we're using our Infos and Zenos. This is a beautiful new one that I just think is kind of cool. They've really been developing things. And we used to always have somebody with. And as I've been talking with Orion about things, because I talked to him about who I was having meetings with, and he was saying, wait a minute, if they're platinum, you don't need to be doing the meeting for them. You just need to be on as that third party validator. And it kind of was like this shock to me in a way. I was like, oh yeah, I guess, I was jumping in and doing a lot of things. And I was kind of thinking, okay, I've been doing this 8 years. And if I'm still learning, the tweaks and tweaking things, I thought it would be a great thing to have on as one of the topics for us today. I think we'll always get better and better, and I think things will always evolve. And honestly, I think things are going to change somewhat in some ways in the US, because I think the US is a different market. So I think we need to be looking at how are things going? What is going right? What is going wrong? What are we doing that's working? And let's talk about that. So today I want to talk about what is working for people. Arlo, I know, and I know we talked about it just recently, of it's pretty much up to us to book the meetings. The only person you can tell of what to do is who's in the mirror, right?
That's exactly it. And, we can't be a secret agent out here, right? We got to keep it very simple. So we need to just book meetings as if we're going to meet them for a nice cup of coffee or go out to lunch. It shouldn't be a salesy thing, especially when you're trying to book the appointment. We got to get that sales hat off, so to speak. We want to meet with them just like we're meeting with them to talk about anything, really. But we got to be willing to share with them this great opportunity, this great health benefit that we have on our hands. We gotta be better at letting them know how important this stuff really is.
Yeah, it's the best kept secret out there.
It is. Really? It is.
Oh, and I know, like Mary, you've been having a ton of meetings just in the last period of time, and how you're meeting people.
Mm-hmm.
You're just, some of them are at your BNI group, some of them are at other things, some of them are people that you've been following up the whole time, but it's really having the meetings.
Yep, and I think the thing people really need to understand too is, don't get hung up on the fact, I hear a lot of people go, well, I did 3 meetings, but I didn't get 2 of the 3 people started. But you know what? It's not a one meeting thing. You have to build that relationship. They really want to know that you care and you're going to listen to them. So I always find that, it's multiple meetings. And I know, Arlo, you've done the same thing, where there might be somebody that you met with a month ago,
mm-hmm.
2 months ago, that you're still meeting with as they're needed. I've been listening even more and more to more Go Course lately, and a lot of things that people keep saying on there, and I know Peter's a big one that says this a lot, is he brought somebody in the business not that long ago that he met a year ago, but their time wasn't right when he met with them.
Actually, he said the last 2 people he's brought in, he's been working on for about 10 years.
That's true.
It's
Yeah.
pipeline we're talking about, and every time you meet with somebody, not everyone says yes, but we just pop them in the pipeline and follow up and be genuinely interested in the people. It's us that needs to really realize we're looking at what they need and when, and doing what's right for them. And actually we have amazing products that we know absolutely everybody needs, but not everybody's going to see it. They just need to get the offer for it. And I think everybody should see the business. Everybody, because if they don't want to be a part of the business, they should definitely start as a customer.
Mm-hmm.
I always say that I'm very transparent when I'm in my meetings. I just want to make sure you have all the information that I received when I first started.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And the other thing I have found that when you treat someone right, just exactly what Carla is saying, you meet them where they're at, they might not see it right away for them, but if you treat them right, you give them the opportunity, you give them the business and the customer opportunity. And then what happens a lot of times is, at least for me anyway, is that maybe that person didn't see it for themselves right then, but they wanted to start referring people. But then a couple months down the road, they call me. Something changed in their life, whether they were at a doctor's appointment or whatever they were at, something changed. And they went, oh, I got to call Mary back because I need this now. Now they see that for themselves. But if you treated them right, and let them know that they were important and left them in a good way, they're going to come back to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll share my thoughts too on exposing this to everybody, because it's almost like, have you ever been car shopping and you're just in love with that one particular car, but then all of a sudden, once you're exposed to that car, you're out there shopping for that particular car. Let's say it's a yellow Volkswagen Beetle. All of a sudden you see 1 million of them on the road. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what our people are doing when we meet with them. They may not understand omega-6, omega-3 balance at first, but now they're going to be listening for it, like on the radio, on TV. They're going to listen to a coworker talk about it. But now they're going to reach back out to you because they're now hearing it multiple times over. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. 100%.
That's why it's so important to meet with everybody. Just let them know what we're doing. You might not get the sale right away, but that's okay.
Just keeping them in the pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much about when you're meeting up with people to be just genuinely interested, making that friend, finding the friend. And sometimes you talk some Zeno, sometimes you don't. But I know for me, it's been important to keep it so simple when you're going to show this, like if people are interested. Like I spend time always at every meeting listening to how the other person is. I ask them about their family. I ask them about what they've been doing, what they're spending their time with, how they've been feeling, things like that. Genuinely interested. And people like to talk about themselves. And I always get to where, they would say something about, yeah, well, I've been doing this, or I need more of this, or I get more of this. And I can ask questions. The more I ask questions, you find out so much about people. I got here just a couple, the night before yesterday here, and on the way to get my car, I had an Uber driver, and I was just asking her what she's doing and what she was up to and things like that. And it got to the point where I said, I don't know, maybe you look at opportunities. She says, I always think people should look at opportunities. Well, so you can choose how you're going to show business things. Sometimes it's good to send them something. Sometimes it's good to take time right there. Well, she, of course, couldn't sit down right then and there. She was going to go off to the next the next place. So I got her contact information. Now, how are people looking at the business in some ways? Of course, if you can meet down and sit with them, I think that's always best. I think you get the most closures the more that you meet with somebody personally. And as you're talking to them there, at some point I'll talk about the products, I'll talk about things. And then at one point I might say, well, hey, let's take out, if you want to, I could show you a little bit more about it. And they always say yes, because it's been a natural process of asking them questions. And then I will take out the brochure, and I do it so fast because I know that if they have any questions, they're going to ask. You don't have to overfill people. I think that's one of the issues is we overfill people. But it really is super simple to take this out and follow this, you know, to follow each step of this. And you hear it many times at a BP, which we'll talk about in a little bit because there's a lot of them coming up. But it's just so simple on how to do these presentations, and to, you know, and to just be really simple about it and let them, you know, take it. When I show from the time I start to finish this, it takes me 11 minutes. I've timed it many times. 11 minutes. You don't want to take an hour. You don't want to take a ton of time. I think that's one of the issues. People get overfilled. So do it short, answer questions. And when they have a certain question, or you want to tell a story, or, you know, pull in an upline or a downline and have them on and just say, hey, you know, that's a great question. Let me just check and see what Arlo says about that. And that way you can put on and say, hey, Arlo, I'm sitting here with Johnny. And Johnny had this question about something I didn't know. Would you be able to answer? Could start that way. And this person could talk about either what his story was or answer a couple questions. So, you know, use that third person that way. That way you can go out and have more meetings, because the people who have more meetings are going to have the most success. And it's just that simple. But you can do other ways of doing meetings. You can be doing things online. You know, you can meet somebody just like on a Zoom meeting, just like we are right now. Alex, you do that all the time. This is kind of your forte. And actually, you do the exact same thing that you would if you were meeting with them, just online, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So we all have people, contacts we know in person, face-to-face, online, offline. So what changed for me is not prejudging anybody. And then I just try to book it right there on the spot. I don't look through their profile. I don't, you know, base their past off of anything. I just ask them about the meeting, and it's either going to be yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I believe it's a numbers game. It's all about quantity here, because if some people just focus on like quality, for example, then I don't think that's always the best. Because what I've been taught is the quantity, because they're either going to work or they're not, you know, and some people are coachable and some people aren't. But then, so it's like, this is our profession. Just get it in, numbers. Let's just keep booking the meetings.
Mm-hmm.
So then you're going to find the ones who want to run, and maybe some won't.
And you never know, because that person who you might have not thought, you know, they might not build the business. You don't know who they know. Maybe they know the next person who's going to be your next diamond in your team. So yeah. You shouldn't judge anybody. Everybody should get the opportunity. And remember it as that. We can help a lot of people this way. Mary, you had something.
Yeah, I was just going to add to something that you guys have both said, because there's so many different ways to do the meeting. But the thing I want to stress to a lot of people is that you have an upline and use them. Because what really helped me a few years ago, Carla, is when first I fell into this one hook, line, and sinker with Carla, was she asked me if I'd ever seen her do a one-on-one, and I, of course, had not. And I thought, oh, great, I'm going to get to sit with Carla and watch her do a one-on-one. Well, I had to book several meetings for Carla to come in too. But what I want to stress on that is make sure you see several people do a meeting. You know, set up some meetings and ask somebody in your upline to say, hey, could you come and do some meetings for me? Because it's amazing what I learned from watching. I've watched Arlo, I've watched Carla, I've watched Lori, I've watched so many people do meetings. I've learned something, I've gleaned something on from each one of them that's helped me. And so definitely you've got an upline. All of us want to help our downline. And so definitely don't be shy about asking someone to come in and do a meeting. If you've never seen them do a meeting, have them come in and do a meeting for you. You're going to learn something from it every time.
Yeah, and once you are able to do meetings on your own, I mean, I think everybody who has been silver should be able to do it on their own. Then it's just about getting out there and getting enough meetings, you know. And, you know, I think some people then say, okay, so how do I get those meetings booked? Matt, we were just talking about this. I think it'd be kind of fun to pull that in because, you know, one of the things I think Peter talks about is if your why is strong enough, nothing can stop you.
And that for me is a huge thing. I had worked on a dream board actually 2 years ago and got it all set up. It's great things that I want to achieve, as I grow as a person and get things, whatnot. But they weren't the strong why to really drive me. And talking to Peter, I'm really excited I'm working on my new dream board. Gonna probably make like 20 of them and put them everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm very excited because of the fact that it's a lot more of where my heart is with helping people. And so, and I'm just feeling that build more as to that pushes me a lot better. Seeing different faces, seeing different numbers.
And that actually is really an important thing, because if we're going to have a lot of meetings, we need to book them. And I've been talking to a lot of people who have been in the business for a while and say, yeah, the part about booking the meetings is they're not getting them booked. And I am not in doubt that if you're not booking the meetings, your why isn't strong enough, period. Because I think everybody, if I gave you a suitcase, 10 of them with $100,000 in each of them, and said you can give them to whoever you want, you'd be on that phone right away saying, hey, I gotta give them to 10. I want to give to my best friend. Hey, I got one for you. Hey, cousin. hey, neighbor. The friends that you love and care about, you would want to help. So if people have to find out what motivates them, and actually, I think that was a good thing for Matt to have that question too, because, he kind of said, well, what motivates, and it was like, okay, having a lot of people that you've helped, and if you knew though, then you have to pick up that phone. You have to do something to get there. Other people have different goals. Everybody is going to be different, but you need to know why you're going to build Zinzino. Some of you have been sticking with Zinzino for years, and we haven't been having the role of success that you wanted. Well, there's only the two things that Orion says: not enough meetings and not closing enough meetings. So if that's the case, we need to kind of go through kind of like Art Jonek's diagnostics. What are the things that could be going wrong? And if you haven't seen that video, it's still pinned at the top of our Facebook page. To me, that was genius. As everybody knows, I love my car. Little Sadie is just, I love her. Even in this kind of weather, she's a terror out there. I love it. Anyway, but, I had to have a service done on her not too long ago. And I drive into Mercedes, and all I need to do is plug her into something. And there's this little computer that goes dig-a-lig-a-lig-a-lig-a-lig, and it's like printing out what is needed on the car. It gives you this diagnostics on the car. Wouldn't that be just great if we had that for partners? So you could just like stick yourself in and be this diagnostic and figure out, okay, where is the hurdles that's holding you back from having success? What if you could do that for your partners? What if you could do it for yourself? Well, to me, that's what Art Jonek's diagnostics were. You need to really take a look at it. There was 5 things, and go through those 5 things of why we're not having that success. And number 1 is one of the biggest ones. There's other things in there too, but number 1 was the number. How many meetings are you having? How many partner meetings are you having? What was the number for the last week, for the last 2 weeks? That's why we have accountability groups, because you can keep yourself accountable at the number of meetings that you're doing to somebody else, if that's something that you want to do. But it really is finding out what's holding you back. And if we're not having the amount of meetings, well, we need to find out how do we fix that? Well, again, Orion says either way, whether you're not having enough meetings or you're not closing enough meetings, either way, the answer is more meetings. And if you're struggling to have meetings, then probably the why isn't in place. So you know, for me, I know one of the things that's motivated me the entire time is that picture that I have of a stadium of people, knowing that I've had influence on helping them either with their health or with their wealth. That is definitely what motivates me. And I have one more thing on there now. After we had a death in our team, I also realized how important the community of Zinzino is. I want to build our Zinzino family stronger. I realize so many people are out there. We just had people posting about suicides and death and things like that that are so sad. And so now I really feel that Zinzino has three amazing things to offer: better health, better wealth, and the community.
Mm-hmm.
That motivates me drastically to want to tell more and more people about this. And then it's definitely about having enough people in front of our what we have. You know, I've just been out telling more people about it. And if you can't get together with somebody, meet with them online or send them some information that's, you know, you can put them on one of the live meetings, or you can put them, you know, send them some of the videos or the information, because I really believe we just need to get this in front of people. The number of meetings makes all the difference. Does anybody have any specific question about having meetings or booking meetings, or something that you feel holds you back that maybe we could talk through or get some advice on? Or add to this? You can also add to it.
Well, I'd just like to add something to what you just said about your why. I think your why really, you know, because when I talk to people that can't figure out their why, and then so I ask them, what's your vision? You have a vision, Carly. You have a vision. You see a stadium full of people. Mm-hmm. That in turn is your why. So I think if people have a vision of what they want to become, what they want to live in, the kind of car they want to drive, whatever that vision is, I think that'll help them get to their why. If that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. So I know we've had a few people struggle. Well, I don't know what my why is. What's my why? Well, let's start with vision then. So just wanted to add that.
Mm-hmm. Anybody have any questions or comments? Yeah, Alex?
I actually do. It's like when I sponsor in people or get people into the business, a lot of people are involved in something else, or they're doing something else. You know, how do we kind of get them going more Zinzino? Does anybody else have that problem at all?
Ooh, I think Mary and I talk to other networkers all the time. Uh-huh. So I'll start. Right?
Right.
I love talking to other network marketers. The reason why, because they're passionate about their company, right? Mm-hmm. But what I do is I just simply explain to them the importance of balance, because it'll help their products work that much better.
Right.
Then in time, if you get them as a customer, I got you know, a few people that are customers from other network marketing companies, but then now along the way you're building trust. Then what happens is maybe down the road, they're not going to be happy with their company or something, and they'll end up being partners. I mean, I just got one just a week or so ago. She was with another company for years, but finally the trust in the products, and she was on the product for a year. She now decided to be a partner. So that's the angle I use with other networkers. If they're happy with their company, I never want to talk them out of their company. But man, would our products line with their products perfectly? Mm-hmm. So
to add upon that too, I just met with somebody earlier this week who became a customer right away, and he was in another line also. But one thing, he asked me some very specific questions, and I don't know if everybody's aware of this, but you know that Zinzino does not have an annual fee. A lot of other direct sell companies have an annual fee. They have quotas, they have a lot of things. And so this guy and I actually had some pretty detailed discussions this week about all the benefits you could say we have with Zinzino, because we don't have all these, he called them hidden fees that he was paying in his company. And that's huge. You know, that is amazing when you start thinking about, I mean, this guy was telling me, I don't know what company he was in right now, I can't remember off the top of my head, but he was talking about to use their website, they have like $100 and some a month to use their website. So now you think about this, if you have to pay $100 a month, how much, that really eats into your profits. If you're, that's a big amount. And he goes, so what does it cost you to have Zinzino's website? I'm like, $0. And he's like, no, I mean, seriously, what is the hidden? They're like, $0. And that's huge. When you start talking to other networkers and they realize we don't have what they call the hidden fees, it's amazing.
I like knowing that some of the new things, and that's what's kind of tough for me, because I know some of the things that are coming up and I can't say anything. But what I do know is when Orion said last week that we are doing right around $250,000 in sales a month, and by the end of the year, he expects that we'll be doing at least $1 million a month. I believe that.
Yeah.
There's a reason for it, and that's and the thing is, I mean, Zinzino can get better than it is right now, guys. I mean, yeah, it can, because it's coming. But I mean, it's really got so many amazing things right now, and we need to realize that, we need to get out and tell more people about what is happening right now. And I think a lot of it is our excitement, our stories. That's more important than anything else. The feeling of the meeting is when you get excited about things. That's why your why is so important, because then you're so passionate about things, and to know that that's where we're going. And to have this free, to me, it's a free kit, because you're going to get 3, it's crazy that we're getting $3,099 plus 5 extra tests this month by, people signing up. They're getting all of that for free just by having 10 customers and they're auto ship throughout the year. And if they got that, if they decided to go for that, and they can, they can actually get their customers all this month, and they'll never pay the auto ship, they're still going to get things back. I mean, this is absolutely crazy. And especially with, the time that it is now. I don't know if you guys can feel it, but it really is where people are looking for businesses. Even I was talking to the Uber gal about it, and how so many people have a side gig. They need to have a little something extra or something extra to do. But what we have in Zinzino is so worth it. We just need to get it out and have more meetings. So I totally feel that if everybody just kind of said what number they're going to do, if you had your why, you would put in even more time. But find your own why. That what is it that motivates you? What's the vision you have? What is it you want to get out of Zinzino? Why not start now? People are going to be taking this to the next level, and we've got so much of all the kinks worked out, so I think it's time for us to start having more meetings. If you want to have, just that 10 minutes on with one of us or me, send me a line over Facebook and say, hey, I'm having a meeting here. Would you have time to jump on for 10 minutes? I've done that for a lot of people. And if I happen to be doing that for somebody and you want me to jump on, I'll just say 5 minutes, just a sec. And then I come back on and I answer questions then. So you can use a lot of different people. It's about the meetings. So if you're not having success with the meetings, we need to do more meetings. You need to ask some upline to be with you until you can find out what it is. And if you're having any issues in booking meetings, find out. We need to do the diagnostics so that people are getting their meetings in. We've got way too many people out there in the United States who need our products, who need the company, or who need the Zinzino community. We need to grow everything. So I don't want it to be holding us back. I don't know about you, but that's kind of been a passion of mine lately. I'm actually starting to meet with even more of those family who have been pushing it away for years, meeting up with those people too. Because after what Art said is the number 3 was the heart, the people who know you, like you, trust you. And I thought, yeah, we need to be loving them even though they've been pushing us away. still need to meet with them and talk to them, because in the way they're somewhere in the pipeline. And why not talk to the people that you love the most? Makes sense. So, any comments? Anybody want to say anything to add to this? So I want to put a little push about the 3 BPs we have in the next 2 weeks here. We have the Tuesday next week a BP at the Cambria, and if you live far away, you can put people on there. People can watch in, and I highly recommend for people to be meeting with people between now and then, so that you can be bringing guests. I mean, that's one of the best things that a BP is for bringing people to that. So it's not just the partners. Of course, we get a good training from there too. So whether you have a guest with or not, be at one of these meetings or more. It's kind of nice to meet the Zinzino family and get together. But BP Cambria Suites on Tuesday, and the following week, it's on the 5th and the 6th. On the 5th, we'll be in Deerwood at Marcy Bordwell's house. You can see the address online. And on the 6th, it is up at Detroit Lakes. So you want to make sure that we're at one of them or more. And I do want to put a little plug in for our accountability groups. If you want to be growing and you want to have somebody to follow up with, they're kind of fun just to say, okay, this is how many meetings I want to have. This is how many meetings I'm planning on having. And kind of, it's nice to have somebody to help you out. Otherwise, time flies by so fast. So I recommend them. And I know that both of the links are posted. So we have those right afterwards. That way we do them all in the one time. Oh, Deb, is that you saying you want to say something? Let me unmute you. There you go. Hey, Deb.
Hi. I just wanted to ask, on the WECB campaign, are you going to explain it more then? Because I know number one, this Zinzino Feels Stay Young kit, where is that?
It is it under the, am I correct if it's under the add-on part?
Yeah, you go to enrollment kits and then hit enrollment kits, and you'll see add-ons under that.
Yeah. So that's a good question, Deb. Yeah, and I think, it depends. How about if everybody, if your job said to you, do you want to get your regular pay? Do you want to get double pay? Well, that would be great. Double pay is great, but you also have to decide, okay, this is my time to run. And actually, the fun thing about it is to say, the more action you have here in February is what's going to give you the push for March. So if you want to have your 200% and get the most out of this, that's actually a really good idea to talk to people who are, maybe following up with people. Some people that you want to get into the business, tell them about this, because you know what? They could sign up today and also have 200% for next month. So this is a great time to be pushing for, let's get all of the give the offer for new people, because they're going to have all of March to have 200% themselves and give other people the opportunity to have the free kit. I mean, to me, it's just a free kit with a deposit. You put in a deposit, really. You get it all back in a year. It's crazy. So I think right now is the time to tell people about this is what we could be doing, and then tell them about it so that we have all of March. March is going to be Zinzino's very best month that's ever had in all the countries. So it's a crazy month. So now's the time to be finishing up this month. Make sure you go on and find out from your back office exactly what you can do to get that 200%. And they have the different kits that we all can use those products anyway. You can find them under the add-on part on the enrollment kit add-ons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's finish out the month of February here completely crazy. so that March can be the month that the US starts their growth curve, because I'm telling you, we have to have it in our mind. We have to be collectively seeing that vision of the takeoff that the US is going to go, because none of the countries has the potential that the United States have. None of them do. And yes, some of them are doing 10,000 a year, or, you know, they're putting in a lot of people. Or like Eep was saying that time, he's got that 21-year-old who's now building a huge team in Poland, doesn't even speak the language, and he's just having meetings and having them translated. I mean, without a whole bunch of direct sales experience, he's just passionate about it and excited about it, and people feel that feeling. So, but when the US decides, and it's not about your team or anybody else, the only person you can tell what to do is who's in the mirror. So I think we need to make that decision ourselves. And people need to find out what's your why. So if you get anything out of this meeting today, ask yourself, what is your why? What is it you want to do in Zinzino? Because you can have the sky is the limit. And if anybody else doesn't have a why, if you want to be a part of this stadium, because I know we can share that. We need more people for that. But let's get out there and help so many people. They don't know what they're missing if nobody's getting the chance. So today is the best day that I think to book meetings. Not many people are going to be out on a day like today here where it's cold and windy in Minnesota. I'm not sure. Some of you are in other states, but today, Sunday's a great day to be calling and booking your meetings with people. So let's make this month, finish it off, you know, getting that 200%. And once you got that 200%, let's start letting people get in for this month. I'm excited about it, and we need to get more meetings in. So start doing meetings. And if you are wanting to, you can always tape them and send them to an upline and say, okay, am I doing something wrong? You're not. You're doing it right. Just tell people about it. With people that are hungry are going to see it. So let's get out there and do those meetings and have a lot of fun with it. Let's get this truck rolling. Rocket blasting. Let's keep it going. Okay? Any other questions or comments?
Yeah.
I'm looking. I don't see anything. Okay, well, I'm going to unmute everybody. I hope everyone got something out of that. Let's go out and finish this month strong, guys. And I hope to see people on the accountability groups.
And anybody that's coming on the accountability for, bear with me. This is my first time hosting, and I have to figure it out. So bear with me.
You've got it, Val.
I'll be there.
I'm going to send you Diane Sternagel. She's sent them to me, so I'm sending them to you so that you have them.
Alrighty. Sounds good. Thanks.
Have a great Sunday.
Bye, guys.
See you at
Bye. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, guys.